What's up, sons? It's Blind Red with Son of a Tech once again, and today we have the rumors for the specifications of the RTX 5090 from NVIDIA, and I'm here to go over my hash rate predictions on memory-intensive algorithms with you guys today. So this leak has shown here in a tweet that I made, and then of course there are some articles to back it up. I'll leave links down in the description below. We have basically an improvement from 128 to 192 streaming multiprocessors. We're going from 16,000 CUDA cores to 24,000 CUDA cores. We're going from 128 ray tracing cores to 192 ray tracing cores. We're going from 512 to 768 tensor cores. We're going from a boost clock of 2.52 gigahertz to 2.9 gigahertz, almost cracking that 3 gigahertz barrier, and from 72 megabytes of L2 cache to 128 megabytes of L2 cache. And the big one that we're basing a lot of our predictions off of today is the memory bandwidth going from 1,000 gigabytes a second to 1,500 gigabytes a second. Now, the important part here to understand is that on the core intensive algorithm side of things, I cannot ever get purely accurate hash rate predictions. At least in the past, I haven't been able to, just because architecture differences and so on make that a lot more difficult. But in the past, I've been pretty much spot on based off of memory bandwidth, and the calculation is fairly simple. You take the percent gain, you can use a percentage calculator here, of the memory bandwidth, and you calculate that out. In this particular case, it's a 51.9% increase from the RTX 4090. We can then extrapolate that out, comparing the hash rates of the RTX 4090 and then increasing them. So on Ironfish here, for example, we have a hash rate of 82.58 megahash a second on Ironfish. If we increase that by 51%, we would see that the RTX 5090 will get a hash rate of 125.5 megahash a second on Ironfish, as that is a memory intensive algorithm. So there you go. The other one I took a look at was the Ergo hash rate, and on the RTX 4090 it is already at 265.82 megahash a second, which is already very high. But we're going to crack that 400 megahash a second with the 5090 if these rumors are true, as a 51.98% increase of hash rate takes the RTX 5090 to 403.9 megahash a second. Pretty incredible. Finally, the last one that I took a look at, which would translate into all of your ETC hash rates, ET hash rates, all that sort of thing, is Hypera, which is ETH B3. Still very competitive, or comparable, I should say, excuse me, to the other ET hash algorithms, and it is memory intensive. The RTX 4090 shows 132.8 megahash a second. If we run that through a percent calculator and increase it by 51.98%, that puts it over 200 megahash a second on a GPU, 201.8 megahash a second specifically for the RTX 5090 on ETH hash coins. That is amazing. Now, I did go ahead and run out the revenue for you guys on these particular coins, with Ergo coming in at 403 megahash a second. That would be netting about 0.6 erg per day, which comes out to 0.85 cents in, well, 0.85 cents, excuse me, which comes out to 85 cents a day in revenue in fiat. On Hypera at 201 megahash a second, we see 38.63 Hypera per day, which comes out to 79 cents a day in revenue. And then finally, the most profitable is Ironfish at 125.5 megahash a second a day, would put you at 0.7 iron and $1.24 a day in fiat. Keep in mind here, we do not have power calculations yet. And when you increase the bandwidth, we have seen, of course, the power increase that just has to happen. So the delta may not be that much of a difference when we start calculating out power for these particular GPUs, but we are definitely getting a much more powerful GPU at the end of the day. I'm excited to see what we end up having on the core intensive algorithm side of things, especially as dual mining has been the most popular option as of late. Dual mining something like Ironfish with something like Pyrin or Carlson or whatever that may be. So these are going to be really interesting times as we get closer and closer to the launch of the RTX 5090. Now, another thing I wanted to point out with the launch of the RTX 5090 is it looks like it's getting closer and closer to being tied into the bull run, similar to what we saw on the launch of the RTX 30 series. And if this is going to be the case, I would expect shortages across the board once again, especially compounded with the demand in AI. Now, NVIDIA has done some things strategically to kind of cut down the use of AI on the RTX series, but they've left it for the RTX 4090. Some of those features on the lower end models have been pulled down or kind of capped. In some markets as well as China, they've kind of removed the RTX 4090 and dumbed it down to make it not as effective for AI applications. So hopefully that distinguishes it a little bit and keeps the flow kind of going as far as availability, but we have barely had good availability for the RTX 4090, albeit better than the RTX 3090. But if we end up having the bull market coincide once again with the launch of NVIDIA GPUs, it's going to be a tough time. So that begs the question, should you be purchasing RTX 4090s now in anticipation for a possible shortage, or should you wait for the RTX 5090? Let me know what you're doing down in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to check out my locals at sonofatech.locals.com for the latest plays, and my e-course at sonofatech.com. And also, later this month, at the end of the month, actually the beginning of June, on June 1st, I have my consensus meetup at the Batch Kolaches and Brewery, and we have 30 more tickets open for that. I'll leave a link down in the description below for you to go on over there. We're doing a raffle for an RTX 4080 Super, as well as a raffle for the full by 12 BC250 rig from ASRock. Here's the event details. The tickets are free. I am trying to raise some money to basically go ahead and cover the cost of renting out the facility on a Saturday. So that's why I did add in the raffles. You do have to be present to win. So if you're not going to be present, but you still want to support, you can do a donation. That's to help increase capacity. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next Tuesday.